Are you really trying to provoke me? Are you trying to provoke me? I'll kill you. You'll really lose your life in here. He's like, matter of fact, I'll get my sister to whoop you. You're not from here. You're not about that. You're not from Ohio.
Aisha Nelson made several 911 calls begging for help, saying her life was in danger. Just hours later, police say Nelson and her daughter were dead.
All I know is that my daughter and my granddaughter were killed. That's it. They were shot. I know nothing else.
At 1:30 in the morning, a man in Dayton, Ohio picked up a phone and called 911. He told the dispatcher his girlfriend was acting up, that things had gotten out of hand, that he just wanted it to stop. 2 officers were at his front door in 12 minutes. Now hold on, because that same woman he called about had already called 911 3 times that day. 3 separate calls spread across 12 hours. She had given dispatchers her name, the address, a description of the weapon in the house, and the exact words he had used when he threatened her life. Not one officer came for her, but the man called once, and they showed up in 12 minutes. The officers advised her to take her daughter and leave for safety, but she refused. Surprisingly, she also asked them not to arrest him. Why? Her name was Aisha Nelson. She was 31 years old. Her daughter's name was Harper Monroe. She was just 6. Within 2 hours of those officers leaving that house, both of them were dead. There was a gun in that house the night the officers came. Aisha had bought it herself. Why didn't the officers remove it from the house? Why did she refuse the resources offered to her? When someone threatens you and you report it, then the police gives you an escape plan but you refuse. Who is to blame for what happened next? Because Aisha's family would later sue the police department for wrongful death, claiming the officers didn't do their job.
I hold the officers accountable.
Yes.
Because if they would have did a better job with judgment, all 3 of them would be here.
They didn't do their job. And now Aisha and Harper are gone. It's about to be 4 months. They're no longer with us because police failed to protect them.
Welcome to MindTwist True Crime Stories. Take a moment to like and subscribe to this channel as we explore crimes ravaging our communities. Now, let's get into it. Aisha Nelson grew up in Newark, New Jersey. She had an identical twin sister, Agila, born 1 minute apart. Everyone who knew them said they were one person split across 2 bodies. After high school, Aisha joined the Navy. She did not just serve, she thrived. She was precise, disciplined, and the kind of person who stayed steady when things got complicated. That is who she was at her core.
I really get stuck sometimes. Like, I can't believe that my sister is not here. And then me being her twin sister is like, I'm just broken.
She was also Harper's mother, Harper Monroe, 6 years old and full of life. Aisha had moved cities more than once just to put that little girl in better schools, better situations. Every decision she made came back to one question: what is best for my daughter? When Aisha met Dante Hawes, it was while serving in the Navy. Friends first. 13 years of friendship before they became anything else. You do not walk away from 13 years of history easily. When things got serious, Aisha made a decision. She left New Jersey, she left Agila and her mom. She left everyone who had always been her safety net. She packed up her life and Harper's life and moved to Dayton, Ohio. But sadly, the man she met in Dayton was not the man she had known in uniform. Dante's father owned multiple properties on the same block, 4 to 5 houses, and had given Dante one of them to live in rent-free. He covered his son's expenses, so Dante felt no need to do anything at all. He played video games all day.
Come on now. Man, my nigga Dana, this bitch catching big dubs. 14 piece. That's what I do.
No job, no ambition, no intention of changing either. And Aisha, who had served her country and raised her daughter on her own terms, was now paying rent on his father's house. Why? A few months in, she found out about his past. He had been convicted of domestic violence against his daughter's mother. He had beaten her. He had assault charges on record. The man Aisha believed could change had already shown once before that he would not. She stayed nonetheless out of love, because she had known this man for 13 years, because she had seen a version of him she respected, and she believed that version was still somewhere inside who he had become. She was wrong. But that is not why he murdered them and ended it all. Not long after Aisha moved in, someone came through the block and shot up every house on the street. They were looking for Dante's cousin. She had not been in Dayton a full year, and violence had already found her front door because of whose house she was living in. So she bought a gun, for home protection, for her and for Harper. Hold on to that. June 22nd, 2022, another argument occurred. Dante followed her through the house, escalating, not letting things settle, telling her she needs to leave the house. He kicked open the bathroom door while she was in the shower and her daughter was nearby. Then he went to the closet and came out with Aisha's gun. "You really willing to lose your life over this?" He said it once, then he said it again. "Are you really trying to provoke me? You'll lose your life in here." He had asked her twice now if she was willing to die. How many times does a man have to say something before you take it exactly at face value? When things settled, Aisha asked for her gun back. He told her it was registered in his name now. He had taken it from her. He had also cut off her credit cards and cleared out her bank accounts. She had paid his legal fees, his bills, his lawyer, and gotten his motorcycle out of impound. She had nothing left, no money for a hotel. No family within 500 miles, nowhere to go. Just before 5:30 that evening, she called 911 for the first time.
Regional Dispatch.
Hi, I have a question.
Aisha Nelson's first 911 call came in just before 5:30 on June 22nd. She asks how to file a police report after she says her boyfriend threatened to kill her.
He do have possession of a gun that I purchased. He did take it. And I didn't make a big fuss about it, but since he threatened my life, he has the means to do it.
The dispatcher encourages her to go to a nearby police station and call from there to have an officer come out and take a report. He also reminds her there are local shelters she can stay at for safety.
She told them he had the gun, that he had threatened her, that she was scared. The dispatcher redirected her, go to a police station and there are shelters available, but she refused. She did not want a shelter. She was paying rent on that house. She had done nothing wrong. She had every right to stay there. Still, no officer came for help. He kept following her through the house. More threats. In front of Harper. In front of his own 9-year-old daughter who lived with them as well. The same words over and over. Just after midnight, she tried one more time.
But according to regional dispatch records, she didn't call back until just after midnight on June 23rd. She asks for an officer to meet her at a Family Dollar so she could file a police report.
I don't want him arrested. I just want to make a report, just in case anything does happen, because I'm going to protect myself.
The dispatcher says she'll send an officer to the Family Dollar.
Her second call came just after midnight on June 23rd. She asked to meet an officer at the Family Dollar near the house, not at the house itself. She was being careful. Dante's family owned most of the surrounding properties and his grandmother lived next door. She did not want to make things worse by bringing officers to the house. She drove to that Family Dollar, sat in her car with Harper, waited 20 minutes. No officer came.
About 20 minutes later, Nelson calls dispatch back, concerned because she saw several officers rushing to another scene.
I do know that they all went to a call. As far as how long it may be that they're on that call, I don't know because I just don't have any details.
Nelson tells the dispatcher she will make the report in the morning. She's concerned about waiting too long with her 6-year-old daughter in the car.
At least you guys have my calls recorded. I don't know what else to do. I do realize that Dayton does have a short of police officers.
She asks the dispatcher to have officers call her if they can meet with her and plans to go back to the house.
I just don't want them to show up at the house.
Right.
I don't want to upset him.
I will go ahead and let them know that, okay?
That was the last 911 call she made.
She calls for the third time. She said she could see police cars in the area, but they were responding to a different scene. She told the dispatcher she could not keep sitting in a car in the middle of the night with her 6-year-old daughter. She would go back home. She would file the report in the morning. That was the last call Aisha Nelson made. 3 calls, 12 hours sum total. She had told dispatchers about the gun, the threats, his prior conviction, all of it. I need you to hold that. Because at 1:30 in the morning, someone else in that same house picked up the phone and called Dayton police. And when police finally arrived at 337 Burleigh Avenue, it had nothing to do with anything Aisha Nelson had reported earlier.
Her boyfriend, Waverly Halls, known as Dante, then called dispatch just after 1:30 in the morning.
My girlfriend in here acting crazy and flew up the house. I just wanted to get out the house. I don't want no problems.
Dispatch records show police responded to the call just before 1:40 and left about an hour later.
Dante Hawes called 911 at 1:30 in the morning. He said his girlfriend was acting crazy, that he just wanted her out of the house. He sounded calm, composed, reasonable by the sound of it. One male officer, Terrell Moore, and one female officer, Catherine Santos, arrived at 337 Burleigh Avenue at approximately 2:05 a.m. They were there because of his call, not because of Aisha's call for help.
So he was like, "You really willing to lose your life over a gun?"
She also shares audio of a fight she had with Hawes. Nelson says he's holding a gun during the argument.
You're not tough. You don't want the alternative. I'm telling you. I promise you that, bro. You tough, you don't want that.
You tough. You got a gun.
She says she couldn't leave because he had cut off her credit cards, and being from New Jersey, she didn't have friends or family to stay with. She also told officers she didn't want a temporary protection order against him. Another officer speaks with Hawes. He says Nelson was breaking items in the house.
She just gotta get out of here. Because I don't want no drama. I ain't do all that arguing and stuff. Then we doing this in front of our kids.
There is a name for what Dante did. Psychologist Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. Abusers call the police first because it places them in the reasonable frame before the other person has said a single word. Dante executed it to the letter. Aisha was waiting on the porch when they arrived, and for the next few minutes, she told those officers everything she had.
Hello.
Hi.
Did you call?
I did, but I did say that I didn't want any police to come to my home.
Okay. Well, I called your phone. You didn't answer.
I didn't get a phone.
Okay. Well, I can show you where I called it. But
I'll put my shoes in.
Everything all right?
Basically last night we had what I thought was a small argument, and he was like, "Get out! I can't wait for you to leave."
hello.
Hey, I called you, and she just locked me in the basement.
Oh, if you talk to her, I'll talk to you.
Go in your room.
Sure. So I didn't lock him in the basement, but okay. His dad owns this house, that house, a house across the street, and a house down the street, I believe. He went in the closet and grabbed the gun. So he was like, "You're gonna get out of my house." So I was like, okay. Like, just okay. Like now at this point, he got the gun into him. So, I let things calm down like an hour, and I was like, "Are you gonna give me my gun? Like, I don't care what you do with it, but you need to put it down. Like, give me my gun." So he was like, my gun is registered in my name now. We got it right after.
So where is it now?
He has it. He has it downstairs in the basement.
Well, since we're talking about guns, you might just keep your hands out of your pocket there. Perfect. Thank you.
So last night he had the gun in his hand. He came back upstairs like, we just started arguing, and he was like, "You'll get out of here. I'll get my sisters and everybody to beat you up." And I was like, "You're not going to do nothing." He was like, "Matter of fact, get out." I said, "You can't put me out. I pay rent here." So he was like, "You're really willing to lose your life over a gun? Like, seriously? Like, you really trying to provoke me?" Like, so today, we didn't talk much. Before he left, he was like, "When you getting out of my house?" I said, "I'm not leaving. I made up my mind." Cause last night I was going to leave me at the hotel. He cut my credit cards off. He was like, "You leaving? But to give me those credit cards." I said, "You're not getting nothing. I paid the balance on them." Like, cause his balance, he was, his credit cards was maxed out. I ran into some money. I paid the balance on both of them. He got into some legal trouble, had to pay a lawyer, pay to get his bike out, had to pay bond and everything else. So that's that. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not leaving because you're not going to leave me with nothing. So that was that. Today he said, when are you getting out? I'm not getting out. You made it to where I can't get a credit card. I'm at to where I can't go get a hotel. I'm not getting out. So I called the police earlier, like at about 5 or 6 o'clock. And, I told them, like, you know, like, last night he made the threat. I told him, like, I wanted to see the police, but I did tell him that I had concerns because his family live on this block. I wanted it to be a little more discreet. I didn't mind y'all talking to him, but I just didn't want all of them in my business. And I didn't want to upset him and irritate the situation. So I spoke with somebody from dispatch. He told me that the police stations are closed. And I just was like, okay, you know, I'll make the report either tonight or in the morning when I go out. And that was that. You know, I expressed all of my concerns to the dispatch. He was like, okay, but we have this call. That was that. I called about an hour ago. And I went up to Family Dollar. I let them know he threatened me again. And I got that one on video, him threatening me. Like, it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. You're going to get out. Like, I'm telling you, what did he say? You're going to get out or you're going to have to suffer the alternative or something like that. And I mean, again, also, the reason why I do take it a little seriously is because he had domestic issues with his daughter's mother, where he was convicted of beating her. And so for him to talk so loosely in front of my daughter, I don't want to take it seriously because we've been friends for so long, but I do. Because, you know, he didn't start doing any of this until after he grabbed the gun. And this is the second, he said 2 times, asked me, am I willing to lose my life? And I don't like that.
I guess my question is, what is it that you'd like us to do? Because you're saying you don't want him in trouble. You don't want to break up. You don't want to leave.
No, we're not together. That's done. Like, that's it. I genuinely do care. Like, you know, like, and I don't like to see nobody go through the system, even the people that deserve it, honestly, because it's a terrible thing. And he's been through that. If he gets locked up for domestic violence or a protection order against him yet again, there won't be the same leniency he had the last time. Like, he got 2 assault charges he was convicted of on law enforcement and his daughter's mother.
She told them exactly where the gun was at that moment, in the basement. She told them Dante was down there with it, sitting in a recliner. She told them he had asked her twice if she was willing to lose her life. She told them about his conviction that he had beaten his daughter's mother before. She told them he had drained every account she had so she had nowhere to go. The officers gave her options to go to a shelter home that night or simply take her daughter to safety. She was given options and resources. But she refused all the advice and she didn't want him arrested or getting into trouble again. Sadly, Harper would pay for the decision her mother made. Instead, she asked them to make him leave.
And everybody to beat you up. And I was like, you're not going to do nothing. He was like, matter of fact, get out. I said, you can't put me out. I pay right here. So he was like, you're really willing to lose your life over a gun? Like, seriously? Like, you really trying to provoke me? So I was like, you know what? Because he was drinking. So I just was like, maybe when he calmed down, because he's gotten upset before, but he never went to this extreme. I said, maybe when he calmed down, tomorrow would be a new day. But he just kept, like, he'll keep coming upstairs. If I'm in this room over here, I started cleaning it out so I could put a bed in there, we'll sleep in there. Like, he just was following me around the house.
This was still all last night.
This was last night. Okay. So today, we didn't talk much. Before he left, he was like, when you getting out of the house? I said, I'm not leaving. I'm leaving up my mind. Because last night I was going to leave me at the hotel. He cut my credit cards off. He was like, you leaving? I'm going to give me those credit cards. I said, you're not getting nothing. I paid the balance on them. Today, he said, when are you getting out? I'm not getting out. You made it to where I can't get a credit card. I'm at to where I can't go get a hotel. I'm not getting out. So, he was like, you gonna be gone when I come back. And all of this is in front of my daughter. Like, every other word is, like, that's how he's referring to me now. So I'm like, okay, whatever. He came back with his daughter. He was going back and forth, and I was like, you can do and say whatever you want to me when it's just us here. But when we in front of my daughter, I'll go to the end of the earth for mine. Like, don't disrespect me in front of my daughter. He was like, you getting out my house? Like, are you really trying to provoke me? And every single time he's stepping closer and closer to me. Are you really trying to provoke me? Are you trying to provoke me? I'll kill you. You'll really lose your life in here. He's like, matter of fact, I'll get my sister to whoop you. You're not from here. You're not about that. You're not from Ohio. Like, it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. You're going to get the out. Like, I'm telling you, what did he say? You're going to get out, or you're going to have to suffer the alternative or something like. He did talk to his dad. His dad just came, and I guess they drew the conclusion to call the police, but I had already called them since earlier, so.
Do you plan on staying here? Like, living here?
I pay this rent here.
So
I don't have family here. I don't have friends here.
Hear me out. I'm just asking if you want to be here.
I want to be here in peace. Like I told her, I called the police 2 times today already. Mm-hmm. I did try to do this discreetly because like I told her, his dad owned about 3 or 4 houses on his block. His granny lived next door. Mm-hmm. Like I really didn't want to upset him. So I called. I let the dispatcher know what was going on. I let them know that he had already threatened me twice.
I mean, at some point you have to come.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. And like I told the dispatcher, like, I don't mind y'all talking to him.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to be around while y'all talking.
Right. So, listen, here's what I explained to him. Okay. You know, you guys are adults. So, you know, you're obviously both trying to provide a safe space for your children.
I don't think so, though. Because like I told her, he's walking around the house waving his gun that I purchased. Like, he didn't start making any threats last night. He had the gun. So I told her I discounted it to the fact that he was out all day yesterday, had Taco Tuesday drinking. So, I mean, I was like, maybe, you know, if we go to sleep. But today he woke up with the same shenanigans. And everything, all of this is in front of my daughter. Like, that's the issue that I have. You say, like, we're adults trying to provide a safe space.
Well, I'm not
and
saying
he's
that,
not trying to create that environment for his daughter or mine.
What I'm saying is, I was trying to let cooler heads prevail, rationalize, prevail. And if this isn't a good situation for you, start to make a transition into a
Well, he cut my credit cards off and cleaned out my bank account.
What I'm saying is, well, there's a will, there's a way.
Well, I mean, maybe he could go. But I pay the rent here. I have receipts. I've been paying the rent here since I moved here. With no help from him.
Well, if you're going to continue to abide here and live here.
I'm not abiding by anything. I live here and I have the right to stay here peacefully. Without being threatened. I didn't make any threats to him. I didn't do anything to him.
Yeah, hear me out. Just hear what I'm saying. I'm not trying to argue with you.
No, I'm not trying to argue with you, but I'm just trying to make sure you understand the situation.
If it's not a good situation, start making the process transition out somewhere else or do something else. Or...
Did you make the same suggestion?
I told him the exact same.
Okay.
So
I'm telling you the same thing.
What my partner's trying to say is that if you legitimately don't feel like this is a good living situation.
The officers stepped away from the porch to talk between themselves. One of them said, "She obviously does not believe it is a genuine threat, or she would not still be here."
She's saying she believes it's a genuine threat, but if that's the case, why are you still here? Why are you putting yourself in this situation?
Was she staying because she did not believe him? Was she refusing to leave because she paid rent in a house that was supposed to be free? Did the thought of staying in a shelter home not sit well with her, a Navy veteran? Or was she staying because he had taken her money, cut her cards, and made it so she had no way out of that house? The officers came back to Aisha with their decision. No arrest was made. No domestic violence report or filing. The gun was not removed from that house. Instead, they came to resolve that Dante would stay in the basement for the night. Aisha would stay upstairs with Harper. The officers would separate the two parties, let things cool down, and everyone could figure it out in the morning. Officer Santos turned to Aisha before walking away from the porch. She offered her a fist bump. Body camera footage captured it. The family's attorney later described it as, quote, basically telling her good luck and fend for herself. A fist bump. That is what 30 minutes of standing on your porch and telling police officers you are afraid for your life gets you. I have gone over that detail more times than I want to admit. I still do not have the right word for what it is. 2:35 in the morning, officers Moore and Santos drove away. Between 3 and 4 in the morning, Waverly Dante Rashad Hawes came up from the basement. He found Aisha Nelson and Harper Monroe. He shot both of them multiple times. Harper was just 6 years old. The gun he used was the one Aisha had bought, the one she purchased for home protection, the one the officers should have taken away. That was the gun. Dante's 9-year-old daughter was in that house that night, but she was not physically harmed. He took his daughter, put her in the car, drove her to one of his father's other properties and dropped her off with relatives. Then he left Ohio and kept driving south. At some point that morning, Dante called his father. He told him he had shot Aisha multiple times, and his daughter had told relatives that officers came to the house the previous night. His father drove to Burleigh Avenue. He called for a wellness check. Dayton police arrived just before noon. They found Aisha Nelson and Harper Monroe in the basement, both dead as a result of multiple gunshot wounds.
Regional dispatch.
I need somebody to come over and do a wellness check.
The first sign of concern came from a call to regional dispatch. A worried caller unable to find his family at a home on Burleigh Avenue in Dayton.
Do you think something happened?
I'm not sure. I just opened the door and just screamed everybody's name. No one's answering.
Dayton police responded just before noon. That's when they found a woman and young girl dead inside the home. Major Jason Hall says DPD's homicide unit was immediately called in, and police believe a firearm was involved.
It's not common that a welfare check results in this type of situation.
The 911 caller told the dispatcher there may have been an argument at the Burleigh Avenue home the night before.
My granddaughter said the police were here last night, so that's why I'm worried.
The dispatcher says police were called to that address. Hall says DPD will be checking into any prior calls to the house.
We are in the initial stages. Once again, that will be part of the investigation into what had occurred in this tragic incident.
It's sad to come home and see this.
One neighbor says while he didn't know the people who lived there very well, they were quiet.
I might have expected it somewhere else, but not like literally right across the street, and not from them.
The homicide investigation launched immediately. Using GPS tracking from Dante's mobile phone, detectives coordinated with federal authorities and traced him south. Falkville, Alabama, Morgan County, local officers located his vehicle. Dante Hawes was inside, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, the same gun. He had driven 250 miles and turned it on himself. Then investigators pulled the 911 records. 3 calls from Aisha, June 22nd into the early hours of June 23rd, the gun. The exact words of the threats, his prior conviction, all of it time-stamped and documented before officers Moore and Santos ever knocked on that door. The department was not done with this story, and neither was Aisha's family.
2 Dayton police officers now suspended and ordered to undergo additional domestic abuse training. This following the death of Aisha Nelson and her 6-year-old daughter back in June. Nelson called 911 several times saying she feared for her life. Hours later, she was dead.
This, Melania, you spoke with lawyers representing Nelson's family. Are they satisfied with this?
Adam, no, they are not. They think that the 2 officers should have done more to protect Aisha and her daughter Harper, and they don't believe that the suspension is enough.
It's kind of unconscionable that 2 lives were lost, and we're saying that a 30-day suspension is warranted and some retraining. We are requesting and we're demanding that these officers be immediately terminated, not given a 30-day suspension and retraining. 2 lives were lost because of their reckless behavior and they're not following the protocols and procedures of this department.
The Internal Affairs investigation concluded that officers Moore and Santos had committed major policy violations. No formal risk assessment had been conducted. No domestic violence report had been filed. No protective action had been taken for a 6-year-old child whose mother had just described an active, specific threat. In February 2023, both officers received 160-hour suspensions without pay. 30 working days. Corrective training was ordered. But they kept their jobs. And this didn't sit well with Aisha's family. They wanted more severe accountability. The officers should be fired, not keep their job.
I took their concerns to Dayton police. DPD sent me a statement saying, in part, quote, "The Professional Standards Bureau is currently conducting an administrative investigation. The investigation findings are currently under final review and will be available soon." According to this 15-page order outlining how Dayton police officers should respond to domestic violence calls, police say the officers who responded to that call did not file a report, which is why police say an internal investigation has been launched to see if the officers followed departmental policy. According to Dayton Police Department policy regarding domestic violence, police did the right thing by separating both Hawes and Nelson and conducting separate interviews. But policy states police must take a written statement.
She obviously doesn't believe it. She doesn't believe it, or she would not still be here sitting in the same house with her kid.
The officers decided they did not have reasonable cause to believe anyone was guilty of domestic violence, which attorney Michael Wright, who is representing the Nelson family, says was a wrong, deadly decision.
There was a firearm in the house. Why didn't they at least remove the firearm?
The family's attorney, Michael Wright, had one central question throughout. The officers knew there was a firearm in that house. Aisha had told them exactly where it was and who was holding it. Why did they not, at minimum, remove the gun?
So she wasn't removed from the home or anything like that. They were both left. They were both there when the officers left.
That is correct.
Did they know there were weapons in the home?
It's my knowledge, yes.
Is there anything that you think that your officers at this point should have done differently?
Well, I think that's what we're going to do is, when the review is done, we'll see, we'll know more about how the call was handled and probably learn more from that review.
The family filed a wrongful death lawsuit in December 2022. Patricia Ickilken, appointed administrator of the estates, took the case through every available court. State court dismissed, federal court dismissed. And here is where the legal picture gets important, because this is something most people watching this do not know about. Here is something that matters for every person watching this. Under a 1989 Supreme Court ruling, police have no general constitutional duty to protect you from private violence. They can know you are in danger, they can leave. And in most circumstances, the law does not hold them liable for that. Aisha called the system 3 times. She worked it exactly as she was supposed to. And in February 2026, that same system gave her family its final answer. If no one is legally responsible for what happened to Aisha and Harper, then who is?
Just to know that I no longer have my daughter or my granddaughter here, because I feel as though it was negligence.
By the Dayton Police Department and City, now the family, with their attorney, is taking action.
The complaint's been filed in this case in Montgomery County Common Police Court against the City of Dayton and the Dayton Police Department.
The family says officers failed to act when they responded to the domestic dispute on Burleigh Avenue in June.
We're asking for accountability. We're asking for answers. This family's received none since June of 2022. Here we are over 5 months out and received no answers.
Police left without removing anyone from the home, and they never filed a report. When we asked DPD about that back in July, they said they were investigating why one was never fired.
If the cops would have did their job, not only would Asian Harper be alive, but Dante would have been alive too. They felt us. They felt his family as well. But we're suffering the worst here.
Financial abuse does not look like violence. It looks like money problems. But when someone systematically clears your accounts, destroys your cards, and makes you pay their debts until you have nothing left, they are not just having a financial dispute. They are removing every exit. If you see that pattern in someone's life, yours or someone close to you, name it. That is not a relationship issue. That is control. And hold on to Darvo. If a partner ever calls the police first during a situation they created, stay calm and document what you can. It is not accidental. It is a strategy that works because most people do not know it has a name. Everyone asks why Aisha did not leave. I would push back on that question. The more honest one is, what did he do for months before that night to make sure she could not leave while still wanting her to leave? That question has a very clear answer. You can't just drain someone and discard them like nothing. Tell me, should those officers have taken that gun the moment Aisha told them where it was? Should people blame her for refusing to leave? Do you think the officers should be fired? And if you know someone who needs to hear this story, share this video. Not because I am asking you to. Because this story has a lesson to pass across. Aisha and Harper deserve better than what the system handed them. Keep resting, Aisha and Harper. This story is not finished even when the courts say it is. That's it from me. I will see you in the next one.